Today we're going to talk about Flatworldknowledge, a company that's using technology to create a competitive advantage in the textbook publishing industry. Digital music was a disruptive technology. Before digital music, we listened to music on vinyl records and cassettes and CDs and 8-tracks. But once digital music came along, the technology radically changed the way that we listen to music and radically changed the music industry. Disruption is also taking place in the traditional publishing world. The Nook and the Kindle are changing the way that we read books, changing the way that books are sold, and changing the whole dynamics of the publishing industry. Flatworldknowledge is also a disruptive entrant into the publishing industry. In this case, they're David trying to battle a $14 billion industry called the traditional college publishing industry. Let's listen to how founder and CEO Jeff Shalstad talks about Flatworld's entry into this big market.
For having me. Flatworld is trying to disrupt, reinvent the college textbook publishing space. And the way we're going to do that is to remove all the barriers, eliminate all the barriers between publication and use of high-quality content. So in higher ed, the gatekeeper is this faculty member who is in control of his class, has faculty freedom to choose whatever course materials he wants, and we have to appeal to him initially in order to scale the business. And the way we do that, quite honestly, is to use the skill sets we used in our Pearson and McGraw-Hill days to produce great content. So we basically copy the industry model on how to produce content. We go out and get a great author. We surround him or her with a development process that's pretty tried and true in the industry. We peer review. We spend a lot of money talking to professors to position our products the right way. And then we surround the product with the appropriate amount of ancillaries for faculty to consider our product at scale good enough. And that's really what it's all about. But after that, we aren't differentiated at that point. Right now, we're just in the game. So the first thing we do to start to disrupt the space is we transfer control of content to the individual faculty member. And we do that through two ways. First is we surround our content with an open license. We use a Creative Commons license, not an all rights reserved license, which is prevalent in the industry. We're just the opposite of that. We basically say, take our content and make it your own. And then we've built this underlying platform which enables all of that. So a faculty member can literally come to our site, make a derivative copy of our book. He cannot interact with the author's book. That's only the author's book. But a derivative copy, and then that derivative is his to make, insert, delete, rearrange, do whatever he wants to make that book better for his course. We believe this is the core value for professors. We believe all professors customize their course. They do that today through a syllabus. And we're just enabling them to do that in the core content they use in the course. We believe a user interface that's intuitive can scale customization quite quickly. And fundamentally, we've built the business around the economics of one. We're a digital-first publisher, so we can survive with Professor X at Arizona State having a very different product than Professor Y at the University of Arizona, and each of them having a different subset of students and maybe a very small subset of students. And then finally, we think these professor derivatives will serve the long tail. So unlike the incumbents, we won't have 6 introductory economics books. We'll have one. But through the open platform, professors will create derivatives, share those back into the catalog, and then others can benefit from that.
Let's look a little more closely at how the Flatworld model differs from that of traditional publishers. In the traditional publishing model, a company like McGraw-Hill hires a well-known author to write a book on microeconomics or management information systems or psychology. That author includes all the information that they think a typical course for an undergraduate would need to include. Professors then adopt that book. They figure out what materials, what chapters they're going to cover and what they're not going to cover. They figure out what information they'd like to talk about that isn't in the book. And then they send their students to the bookstore to buy normally a traditional paper textbook. In the Flatworld model, it's a little bit different. It starts in the same place. They hire authors to write books on particular subjects. But then they provide professors with the ability to adjust the book itself. So rather than having to make changes kind of through the syllabus, the professors can actually log in, make changes directly into their textbook, making it hopefully the perfect book for their course and for their students. Let's see how Flatworld describes this capability.
You're a great instructor. You don't settle for an out-of-the-box textbook or generic teaching resources. You use a Flatworldknowledge textbook because at Flatworld, you can do this, even this. To over 100 college textbooks written by expert authors. We're the only textbook publisher that gives you the permission and platform to personalize top quality textbooks, down to the word. In minutes, the textbook is truly relevant to your course because it's your syllabus, your students. Let's talk cost. You don't want your students paying an arm and a leg for their textbooks. Here, students can access an entire textbook, personalized or not, for $19.95 online. We give students other affordable choices too. Download and read across digital devices with an all-access pass. Unplug and read the entire book in print. Or go VIP and get the whole shebang for a price lower than most traditional textbooks. We are Flatworldknowledge, where personalization and affordability changes everything.
Now let's review how this platform provides advantages to both the instructor and to the student. The instructor can log into the Flatworld platform and customize the book, making it essentially the perfect book for his or her students and his or her class. They can add, subtract material, and make it fit the needs of their particular course. Unlike traditional textbook publishers that are always giving new versions, new editions, Flatworld provides the option of continuing with a current customized book or adopting a new version if an instructor wants to do that, but they don't have to. Also, the low cost and multiple formats make the book accessible for students, and for lots of instructors, that's a really important thing. Similarly, for students, the book is affordable. It's available in multiple formats to fit whatever style and preference the student has. If they are into reading on an e-reader, then great. If they want to read it online, great. Whatever works for them. Also, students should know that the book is really likely to be used pretty heavily because the professor has gone to the trouble, if you will, of customizing the book, changing it, turning it around so that it's tailored to the needs of their particular class. And so students should know that it's not going to be a book that's just going to sit on the shelf. It's one that's really going to need to be used. Of course, the industry, the Goliath, isn't sitting still. They're doing lots of interesting and exciting things, largely with technology, to try to respond to threats like Flatworld. Things like the McGraw-Hill Connect and other different types of online and e-book options are emerging. But you never really know how the industry will unfold. Will they be able to change their model enough to respond and thrive, or will David win? One really never knows who will win the race, but it'll be a fun race to watch. Thanks so much for listening.